What's up, guys? I'm Pao.
And I'm Gwen, and thanks for joining us in another game review.
What we have in store for you today is an extremely popular game franchise dating back to the latter parts of the 90s. Now with its modern look, it continues to attract a lot of gamers around the world.
Pokémon Masters is the newest release tied to the Pokémon franchise. It was just released last August by the Japanese company DeNA. The game introduces new gameplay features while keeping most of the game elements and visual design of the main Pokémon series that we all grew to love.
Just like the previous video, we were gonna break it down further in multiple sections to have a comprehensive view of the game. Prepare your Pokémon team and be the very best that no one ever was. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your Pokeballs and let's catch them all!
Pika Pika?
Is that you, Gwen?
First up, I will explain how to basically play Pokémon Masters. What I noticed about this game is that it has the typical makeup of a Japanese story-based gacha RPG, which is very noticeable right away. The main goal is to progress through the main story, where you step in the shoes of an unknown player with the aim to create a team to enter and win the Pokémon Masters League, or PML, a tournament introduced to the Pokémon universe just for this game. You first meet Misty and Brock, and from there, meet other trainers along with their Pokémon. The main story comprises of quests with alternate instances of dialogues and battles. During battle, your role is to command 3 sets of sync pairs, with you yourself a pair with Pikachu, the official mascot of the Pokémon franchise. A sync pair consists of a trainer
I'm gonna do my best so my Pokémon and I can be the best buddies ever!
and 1 Pokémon from their team from the previous main Pokémon games. Completing quests and winning battles level up your active party and reward in-game items and currency. Most importantly, gems, the premium currency. Instead of catching Pokémon to put in your party, you scout for sync pairs. There are 2 ways to acquire sync pairs. First, sync pairs like Rosa and Snivy and Barry and Piplup can be acquired by naturally meeting them while going through the main story. More or less, you have to battle them to not only progress, but to get them to your team. Second is, of course, through gacha. It is a Japanese IP game after all. Sync pairs like Chris and Totodile and Brendan and Trico are acquired by paying up gems. Each sync pair has a rarity that ranges from 3 to 5 stars. The rarity, of course, determines the rate or chance that you can get a sync pair. Not only that, but it also determines the pair's level cap. What I notice about Japanese gacha games is that they are generous when it comes to giving out premium currency. In this game, even the sync pair themselves are given generously, so it is totally fine to play this game without the intention of shelling out cash. I can totally relate as I am not rich enough to splurge money. However, this is still the Pokémon franchise, so the many opportunities given to you to roll in the gacha can conversely entice you to do more IAP, especially if you can get that one Pokémon that you want. Incorporating sync pairs instead of just Pokémon may be the developer's way to insert as much Pokémon content into the game as possible in the form of familiar characters. When progressing, there will come a time when you have to enhance or evolve your collected sync pairs once you hit the wall in terms of difficulty. While winning battles naturally levels up sync pairs in your active party, you can also manually level them up through designated items. Remember the rarity system I mentioned a while ago? Those can actually be increased through potential increase. You can also manually increase the level cap of sync pairs, which also increases their potential stats and performance. Moves and passive skills can also be learned using in-game items. Pokémon can also be evolved, but not by automatically reaching a certain level. Instead, level-gated special quests called Sync Pair Stories are unlocked. You simply need to enter the quest using evolution shards or crystals, which are special in-game items, and win a battle. As it is done through a quest, Pokémon evolution is entirely up to you, so you don't need to make your Pokémon hold an Everstone or manually stop it from evolving every time it wants to, like in the main games. So you can hold on to your ginormously cute and adorable Piplup and refrain from evolving it to Prinplup just like me. Sadly, as of this recording, not all Pokemon can be evolved. Luckily, Rosa's Pokemon Snivy, the pair you get by completing Chapter 1 of the main story, can be evolved to Servine and eventually can evolve to Serperior. Items are also received by winning battles, but there are also training quests where you can grind the training items needed for leveling up or evolving your sync pairs in the event when you really need them immediately. In addition to all of this, the game has a co-op mode, where you can play with friends or other players and cooperatively beat an enemy way stronger than you. This mode, however, unlocks really late into the game, assuring that you actually know what you're doing before playing with other players. Events to further entice new players into the game, and also a way to retain old players by introducing new content, are also present. And I expect the game to hold events regularly as a characteristic of Japanese games. But as of now, as they just released the game, all of the events are newbie sales and offers, and only one event quest with a side story is added. The game is basically a simplified version of the Pokemon main games. It focuses on the grind, which will displease some people, especially those that are not familiar with Japanese mobile gacha games.
Unlike the traditional Pokemon games where battles are conducted in one-on-one matchup and purely turn-based manner, the battle sequence for Pokemon Masters is slightly different from its predecessors as it employs 3 versus 3 matchups in a real-time, semi-turn-based scenarios. Meaning to say, the order of attacks are queued based on tap priority, in which whoever gets to lock in an attack gets to attack first. Teams are composed of sync pairs, a combination of a trainer and their respective Pokemons. You can acquire them by playing through the main storyline of the game or by scouting sync pairs through the in-game shop. Now, let's move on to the battle sequence. To start, you can tap the enemy sync pairs to attack your desired targets. Likewise, you can toggle between the attack panels of your respective Pokemons to choose which Pokemon you want to attack. Each Pokemon has their movesets, and these actions have corresponding move gauge points. Basic attacks usually consume 1 move gauge point, while advanced attacks will require you to use a bit more. After successfully executing a move, you will see that one or several bars have been depleted from your move gauge slot. The gauge refills during the battle, and the recovery time are based on the overall speed of your team. One of the most exciting features of Pokemon Masters is the usage of Sync Move. It is a special ability that deals devastating damage to the enemies, and it can turn the tide of battle in a heartbeat. However, you can only use the Sync Move after executing 9 moves, and only one among the 3 sync pairs can use this particular offensive skill at the given moment. If you don't want to manually control your team, you can always tap the auto button to simulate the entire battle, as the AI will conduct the attacks on your behalf. Each sync pair has their designated battle roles to help you out in identifying each pair's capabilities and field of expertise. It is really important to take note of each pair's battle roles, especially when tweaking your team composition before proceeding into battles. There are 3 different battle roles available in the game as of the moment: Striker, Support, and Tech. Each type of battle role has its own set of strengths and weaknesses. Sync pairs that falls under the Strike battle role category excels in dealing great damage to opposing enemies, and they often do possess a high level of offensive stats and attributes. The downside of this battle role is that they have lower HP and low level of defensive stats, making them priority targets by the opposing team due to their damage vulnerability. The Support battle role allows you to heal, buff allies, and remove debuffs. Also, this battle role has a high level of HP and defensive stats, making them difficult to kill in battles. On the other hand, support sync pairs can have a hard time dealing with significant damage to the enemies. Lastly, the tech battle role can weaken and restrict the offensive strategies of the opposing enemies by applying debuffs. In spite of that, they can be useless sometimes if the enemy monsters are immune or resistant to debuffs. It is important to consider the battle role of each sync pair and ensure that they are evenly distributed within the team so that you can win more battles. Similar to the old school variation of the game, each sync pair has their elemental types and corresponding weaknesses. However, in Pokemon Masters, there's only one weakness per sync pair, unlike the previous Pokemon versions where there are multiple weaknesses per elemental type. The icon logo of the elemental type is indicated in the character card or can be viewed by accessing the character profile UI. On the pre-battle UI of the main story mode, you can see the recommended elemental types for each chapter, allowing you to build the right team compositions before going into battles. Elemental types and weaknesses relate to the actions that the sync pair can use and elemental types that they are weak against. Being aware of each sync pair's elemental type can give you a huge boost during battle. There are several quests that you can play in Pokemon Masters. These quests allow you to receive different types of rewards upon completing them. The main story mode is where the narrative of Pokemon Masters revolves around. Your adventure starts at the artificial island of Pasio, home to the Pokemon Masters League. The main story mode consists of multiple chapters across different environments. Inside the chapters, you can interact with other trainers, receive challenges, and unlock sync pairs throughout your journey. Upon the completion of quests, you will earn experience points, coins, gems, and upgrading materials as part of the rewards. Coins are primarily used to exchange for rarer upgrading materials, while gems are used to help you acquire more sync pairs. On the other hand, upgrading materials are used to unlock new moves and passive skills for your sync pairs. You have to take note that some upgrading materials only applies to specific sync pair roles. For instance, Buff Blends only applies to strike role sync pairs, Aid Aids to support role sync pairs, and Tectonics are only applicable to tech role sync pairs. Aside from these, you also need other upgrading materials like training machines for you to successfully conduct move and skill upgrades. Aside from acquiring the rewards, you also have the opportunity to battle gym leaders in the main story mode. Upon defeating the gym leaders, you will earn PML badges, which you can use to qualify for the Pokemon Masters League. You'll get to encounter these gym leaders on the following chapters: Erica on Chapter 4, Skyla on Chapter 5, Norman on Chapter 7, Price on Chapter 8, and finally, Hapu on Chapter 10. The sync pair stories are comprised of each sync pair's narrative, and you can also get extra gems by playing them. This is also where you can evolve your Pokemon after you have maxed out their levels. Kindly take note that not all Pokemon have their first or second evolution. Once you have successfully reached the required level for evolution, a new quest will appear on the sync pair that you wish to be evolved. Before you proceed to the evolution battle, you'll need some sufficient amount of evolution shards before the battle can commence. You can get them by exchanging coins through the in-game shop. The evolution battles are completely different compared to the story mode battles, as you have to face the evolution trainer in a one-on-one matchup. Moreover, these types of battles are extremely challenging and you must plan your attacks carefully. The training area is another type of quest that allows you to acquire additional training materials for each team pair roles, leveling up materials, and exchangeable rewards. Once you complete a certain training area, a more challenging version of that area becomes available, offering a greater amount of rewards in the long run.
One of the unique aspects of Pokemon Masters is the co-op game mechanic. In co-op mode, you team up with 2 other players and fight one common enemy team in a PPVE environment. In this mode, you control only one of the 3 slots, but you still have your own team of 3 Pokemon. You just switch out which one you want to use in battle. The gameplay is pretty much the same, with added unique game mechanics such as Unity Gauge, where successive, uninterrupted attacks from your team gives out a Unity bonus, which increases the attack of the whole team. The team can then perform Unity Attack, a special type of sync move where all 3 Pokemon team up to unleash a special coordinated move. It's even better if all the Pokemon are of the same type. Word of caution: co-op mode unlocks way later in the game, and you'll encounter lots of hardship along the way to be deemed qualifiable to enter co-op with someone. I spent most of my time here in the office playing this game just so I can relate the information about co-op, you guys. How are you able to find each other in the game then? That's easy. You can either do quick match, where you are paired with 2 random players, or you can easily create a team with friends where a party number is generated, which others can search. To add someone as a friend, all you have to do is share your player ID, which can then be searched for in-game. You can also send friend requests to players you were randomly matched with during co-op. I can hear you thinking, what about PvP? This is Pokemon, there has to be a PvP. The answer is none. Assessing the makeup of the whole game, I think they refrained including a PvP aspect to make the game more friendly, given that the whole game itself is so simple that it can be played by newbie Pokemon players. The game can be connected to a Nintendo game account for cloud sync and easier data migration. Outside the game's mission or achievement system, there are also achievements that can be attained in Google Play Games and iOS Game Center, mostly regarding story progression. As a newly released game, limited time events are mostly to welcome new players through sales and rewards. First, there's a one-time only gem special, where gem sets are sold on a reduced price. Instead of paying up around $8 to $9 per 1,000 gems, you only need to pay around $7. That's about $24 to $27 for 10 gacha rolls, reduced to $21. There is no indicated expiration date for this special offer, but I assume this set will appear forever until you purchase it or up until the next sale event. A special launch celebration rally is also being held right now, where 200 gems are given away each day you log in for 10 days. This ends on October 17, 2019. There is also a launch celebration scout, a one-time only scout option, where a 5-star pair is guaranteed. However, this can only be purchased using paid gems or gems that are bought using real money. This is a smart move from the developer, but a bummer to us broke players. This is available until 3 months after the launch of the game, on November 28 this year. By September 3, events featuring Blue, the rival and best friend of Red, aka You, during the Gen 1 games and throughout the Pokemon series were added. First, a gacha option that features Blue and his Pokemon Pidgeot. That means that there is an increased chance that you can get him enrolling. Furthermore, there is an event quest that actually features the pair. Here, Blue introduces you to quote-unquote new trainers, because he basically introduces you to characters you already met in the story. You can then battle other random trainers with Blue on your team. Unlike other quests, the team makeup is already predetermined and you have no choice but to use Blue. This just means that the game is enticing you to go roll in the gacha by letting you have a try on having Blue in your team, kinda like a trial quest. After the story quests, more battle quests are unlocked. At this time of recording, the event is still ongoing and will end at September 30, 2019. Based on the duration of the events right now, they will most likely hold monthly events, which is the norm for Japanese mobile RPGs, especially during months with major real-life holidays like the upcoming Halloween and Christmas holidays.
The currencies and microtransactions for Pokemon Masters are quite straightforward and easy to understand. There are 3 currencies available for this game: coins, non-paid gems, and the purchasable gems. Coins and non-paid gems are considered as the soft currencies of the game. You can get both of them by completing various quests in the story mode as well as in sync pair stories. As for the purchasable gems, the bundle that contains the smallest amount of gems costs roughly around $9 per 1,000 gems. On the other hand, the bundle that offers the largest amount of gems is quite cheaper with an estimate cost of $8 per 1,000 gems. The coins that you have earned can be used to exchange for upgrading materials in the in-game shop, while the non-paid gems and purchasable gems are used to help you acquire more sync pairs. What I like about Pokemon Masters is the 3 versus 3 gameplay element of the game, especially the part where you can use multiple Pokemons to conduct attacks successively. I think this Pokemon game is a bit challenging as you have to strategize and lay out good battle tactics compared to its previous versions where the battles have been always set in one-on-one scenario. Another thing here is that the catching of Pokemons have become easier this time around as you can get them by pairs just by playing through the natural progression of the game. Unlike in the other versions where you have to use a lot of Pokeballs just to catch Pokemons. And the worst part of it is that the chances of getting one is not even guaranteed. I also like how they retain the feature where you can get to encounter trainers across multiple maps. Although you cannot move freely in the map just like in the previous versions, you can still do stuff within the quest map like finding hidden items. The overall story arc of the game is really fresh, and it can make non-Pokemon fans easily drawn into the popular game franchise. Whether you're a hardcore Pokemon fan or not, the game is really fun to play, and I suggest that you should give it a shot.
I like that they integrated as much Pokemon main game elements into this compacted mobile version. Pokemon still have the regular movesets. For example, Serperius still has Giga Drain, which sucks out HP from the enemy Pokemon. Pokemon Evolution is also here in the game, although not all can be evolved. Mega Evolution is even included, although it is accomplished through Sync Move and cannot be activated all the time through the Mega Stone and the Mega Bracelet. It is not as complicated nor challenging as the main games of the franchise, but I am still enticed because it is Pokemon. Just like how I am enticed with adorable characters of the main games, I am really entertained with all the Pokemon here in Pokemon Masters. This is good, as a Japanese mobile gacha game really depends on whether their audience care for their characters enough to grind enough currency to do a gacha roll. Speaking of, it is a really quote-unquote grindy game, and since I am accustomed to that from all the Japanese mobile games that I've played, I am not really bothered by it. Again, the Pokemon are really entertaining to watch. At least there is an auto mode in battle unlike other games. The gameplay also confused me for a bit at the start because I was so accustomed with the turn-based mechanic in the main games. I was actually waiting for the enemy's turn to end and I was just waiting there doing nothing, and then I realized the attacks aren't stopping and that I can attack anytime. All things considered, this makes me really excited for the upcoming Pokemon game Sword and Shield, which I presume is the goal of this game given the timing of its release. It's something that I see myself casually playing at the side, but I won't be grinding hardcore anytime soon. I'll save my game hours for Sword and Shield. Pokemon Masters is generally a fun game helped by an enormous franchise.
Likewise, despite of its new look, they still retain the classic features which capture the hearts of Pokemon and non-Pokemon fans alike. We highly recommend this game to newbie and old fans alike as we had fun playing this game. So once again, this has been Pao.
And this has been Gwen.
Thanks for watching!